Topic: Beaches, Location, Beaches, Scope, Court Cases. December 3rd, 1999. 99 or 1150. Public Right of Access to Beaches. By Matthew Anelli, Associate Attorney. You asked for a summary of the law regarding public access to beaches under the Public Trust Doctrine, including access to the beach area. Specifically, you asked for information on Connecticut and New Jersey. Summary. Beaches between the high and low water marks are part of the public trust in Connecticut and New Jersey as well as other states. The public trust is a common law doctrine. Essentially, it holds that the state, on behalf of the public, holds title to the navigable waterways and lands beneath them and the living resources inhabiting them. This includes the beaches below the mean high water mark. The public trust traditionally does not extend to the beach area above the high water, i.e., the dry sand beach. But several states recognize either a right of access across the dry sand beach or a right of way along it. This right to access beaches is usually based in the principle of customary law or some extension of the public trust doctrine. Customary law is law formed based on a historical usage or right that extends back to time immemorial or long enough to be uncontradicted by the memory of man. The customary right of access had long been ignored by courts and legislature. Oregon is generally credited with resurrecting the customary right of public access to dry sand beaches. Several New England states and New Jersey also have recognized the right. Connecticut. South Supreme Court has rejected customary law theories. Public trust doctrine. The idea that the public has a right to access and enjoy the seashore has ancient roots dating back at least to the 6th century Roman Code of Justinian. The right was imported into the English common law tradition and through that to the United States after the American Revolution. Every state, upon recognition of statehood, receives ownership of the public trust lands. The public trust doctrine exists in every state. Under the doctrine, states hold special title to the tidal and navigable water, the lands beneath them, and the living resources that inhabit them. Specifically, the state holds title to the beach area waterward of the ordinary high tide line. The state holds the title in trust for the benefit of the public. The public has a right to use and enjoy the public trust lands for a variety of purposes such as fishing and bathing. In theory, the title to public trust land has two components. 1. The public trust, i.e., jus publicum, and 2. The private property rights, i.e., jus privatum. This theoretical split in title allows private property owners abutting the public trust to acquire a portion of the title for limited rights to use the public trust land for docks and other coastal activities. But the rights are limited to prevent them from unreasonably impairing access to the public trust lands. The doctrine has been incorporated into the statutes, or even the constitutions, of most states. DIY sand beach access. Traditionally, the public trust lands do not extend upland beyond the ordinary high tide line. Upland property owners usually own the area above that line and below the vegetation line, called the dry sand beach. Recently, several states have begun to recognize a public interest in the dry sand beach as a corollary to right to use the public trust lands. The states have recognized a right to use the beach to get to the public trust lands, i.e., a lateral easement, and in some instances a broader right to use the dry sand area for recreation and other activities traditionally associated with use of the public trust lands. Open beach laws. Several states have enacted or considered laws in the past 50 years to legislate or codify a public right to the dry sand beaches. These laws, referred to as open beach laws, take several forms, but all generally allow the public to cross and use the dry sand area. In New England, open beach bills have been rejected in advisory opinions by the state Supreme Courts as unconstitutional takings. See generally the Curious Resurrection of Custom, Beach Access and Judicial Takings, David J. Biderman, 96 column. L. Reverend 1375, 1996. The Massachusetts House of Representatives requested an advisory opinion from the state Supreme Court in 1974 on a bill to create a right of access over the dry sand beach. The court concluded that the bill would constitute an unconstitutional taking. In 1994, New Hampshire's Supreme Court rejected a similar bill in advisory opinion. And in 1989, Maine South Supreme Court struck down the Maine Public Trust in Intertidal Land Act, Bell v. Town of Wells, 557A.2d 168, in 1989. In other states, such as Texas and Oregon, the laws have been upheld and opened vast expanses of beach to the public. Texas passed its open beach law in 1959 and Oregon passed its in 1969. According to Biderman, the laws in Texas and Oregon are materially different from the New England bills. Whereas the New England bills attempted to establish that a customary right existed, the Texas and Oregon laws simply said that if such a right exists under one of several legal theories, the title would vest to the state. In effect, they left the door open for the courts to decide whether the right existed. The courts in Texas and Oregon subsequently affirmed the public's rights. The Texas court used the traditional theory of prescriptive easements, while the Oregon court took a more innovative approach. In recognizing the public's right to the dry sand beach, the Oregon court took judicial notice of the customary law theory to expand its decision to cover all of the state's beaches along the Pacific Ocean. See State Ex Rel. Thornton v. Hay, 462p.2d 671, 672, or 1969. In that case, the state sought to enjoin Hayes from building fences and other improvements on the dry sand beach of their beachfront property. Essentially, the state argued that it held a prescriptive easement on the property that would be unreasonably impaired by the construction. The court noted prescription decisions only applied to the specific tract of land in question, and that deciding the case on that basis would lead to tract-by-tract litigation of beachfront property rights. Instead, the court decided that the entire oceanfront of the state ought to be treated uniformly. It took judicial notice of the customary law doctrine and found that the public's access to and use of the dry sand beach had been the custom of the land since the beginning of the state and beyond. Connecticut. In Connecticut, the courts have recognized the public trust doctrine as it applies to the waterfront since at least 1933. The state Supreme Court noted the public, whose representative is the state, is the owner of the soil between the high and low water mark on navigable water where the tide ebbs and flows. The owner of the adjoining upland has certain exclusive yet qualified rights and privileges in the submerged land adjoining his upland. Rochester v. Barney, 117 Conf. 62, 1933. However, the court has not recognized a public right to the dry sand beach. The court may have taken note of the various decisions and legal theories of recognizing such a right, but has not found them applicable to a case in controversy, Lebo v. Leninsky, 182 Con 611, 1981. In fact, the court has specifically rejected the use of the customary law doctrine to establish a right of way or an easement, Graham v. Walker, 78 Con 130, 1905. The court noted that, owing to essential differences between the legal and political institutions of the two countries, the law of the state, unlike the common law of England, does not sanction the establishment of personal rights of way or other easements by immemorial local custom. A lawsuit, currently awaiting review by the state Supreme Court, regarding public access to the town beach in Greenwich does not necessarily relate to the public trust doctrine as it applies to beaches. Rather, it argues the beach is in the public trust because it is a municipal park. Laidon v. Town of Greenwich, CV 9501433373S, July 1998. New Jersey. In New Jersey, the courts have recognized the public trust doctrine to give all residents access to the state's public trust land. Recently, the courts expanded the public's right to include use of the dry sand beach. Matthew v. Bay Head Improvement Association, 471A.2d 355, 1984. In that case, town residents sued the beach association and beachfront property owners, asserting that defendants denied public its right of access to public trust lands on the beaches in the municipality and its right to use private property fronting on the ocean incidental to public's right under the public trust doctrine. The court held the public must be given both access to and use of privately owned dry sand areas as reasonably necessary under the public trust doctrine. The court noted that it did not need to rely on legal theories used in other jurisdictions such as prescriptive easements or customary law. Rather, it decided to simply modify the public trust doctrine to reflect the reality of the times that people need to use the dry sand beach to enjoy the area below the high water mark. The court stated that A. Rechape judicial responses are not an answer to a modern social problem. Rather, we perceive the public trust doctrine not to be fixed or static, but one to be molded and extended to meet changing conditions and needs of the public it was created to benefit. Mr. L.C.
Complete gratitude. Complete gratitude. So even our situation on the island here, where we have foreign investors totally dominate our beaches, totally dominate our dry sand areas, totally dominate everything. When we look at laws that are in place for the people, not necessarily the citizens, because citizens subject themselves to foreign rule, but the people here, the American Indians, the Amerindians, the original people here. Again, according to how you choose to classify yourself. As an Ahuuakh Indian, there is no beach where I'm on, should be restricted from. Not here on this coastline. But again, if the people choose to remove themselves from that capacity as the people and classify themselves as Jamaican citizens, then whatever the Jamaican government prescribe for y'all, that's what you ask for. Because you definitely choose not to stand up for yourself or, take control of your own affairs. You delegate that to a politician who is an ex-man like you, who do not necessarily have your best interests at heart. So this is why we share basic information. And when we are share this, and you say Connecticut and Oregon, no, so it's a federal law. And the very same federal system goes straight across the board, straight across this earth. Yeah, man, it apply right here in the hemisphere. You know what I mean? And you can look for corresponding laws here. So again, just knowledge over ignorance. Knowledge over ignorance. We here in the West Indies are the American Indians. We are West Indians. So if you want to allow foreign people for count as stock by way of a census, this is how you should, classify yourself then. And when you classify yourself as the original people here, American Indians here, not necessarily Maroons, because we never come on a ship here. The moment you classify yourself as such, then collectively, when ones organize themselves, this is how we can image change, because you can identify everything that is foreign to you. Now, if you as an American Indian choose any religious persuasion, whether it's Buddhism, whether it's Muslim, whether it's Rastafarianism, whether it's Catholic, listen, that should not detract from your birthright, hereditament, from your place in this earth as the original people here, sprung from the ground with them seers. Irrespective of where you choose to believe in, at the root of it all, yeah, Ahuuakh, at the root of it all. So according to how the legal construct is, This is how we have to align with self. And it's a free will exercise, a free will choice. Because if you realize what go on, the Jamaican citizens is being oppressed and them not really have no recourse. Really. Because the only recourse for the Jamaican citizen is to the Jamaican government. That's the only recourse. But when you remove yourself from that capacity, then you're going to realize that you were here way before this governmental construct. And as such, your authority supersedes theirs. Your claim here supersedes theirs. So one's of it, just take time, align themselves with correct knowledge, and then them just apply this very knowledge. We don't have to take everything too personal. You know what I mean? And again, whatever your religious belief or persuasion is, it may remove you. Is when you choose to say you are African descent. Now that's something totally different. What we are talking about cannot apply to no African descent here. Yeah, you can claim indigenous, as a brethren out there point out. And when we look at the word etymologically, indigenous as a born or originating in a particular place. Excuse me. So any foreigner can come into our location and say them born here, that make them indigenous, but does it make them originally from this location? No. This is why I'm not really deal with too much of the words them with us ambiguous. If I say aboriginal, that means that me not go look like the so-called Caucasian. Me not go even have no kind of paleness in me or no yellowness in me. And as the miscegenation occur, then you start to see the different variations. And that is just our perspective here. So when people are cry, I say, oh, the government I do this and Andrew I do that, ask yourself this question. Are you documented within this government national database as their subject slave? Or you want fancy it up as their subject citizen? And if so, then why are you complaining? You delegate your authority to that entity. So why are you complaining? If there is a problem, what you have to do is remove your authority. Yeah, man. And do something different. Create the change where you want. Live that change the way you want. Not depend upon some politician who have their own self-interest to look out for yours. That now go happen. It's never happened before. Yet people still do the same thing repetitiously over and over again and expect a different results. My view is that this political system that is in place on our island is foreign to us. It was created by foreigners and it brings a divide. No different from the educational institution created by foreign Jesuit priests. We teach our people that they're African when that is a fallacy. However, it is an agenda. So this is why we are here. We say we're non-African. We're here from time immemorial, and our name speaks volumes. Really. We are Ahuuakh Indians. Yeah, man. And this is the Ahuuakh Indian Nation in America. We have a plethora of Indian nations across this hemisphere. Yeah, man. It's just that we now can unite, and because people are going to always be people and everything take patience. But just look at yourselves. You know what I mean? That's all it does. Start with you, look in the mirror. That's where it starts. Now look outside of yourself. and take it step by step, man. Lot of information out there now, so we shouldn't have no issues allocate any kind of information where may aid us in a whatever direction we are choose to go. Not allow nobody for, influence you here nor there. Just ask some question and do the basic research. Not allow nobody for bully you and tell them so them a government entity and them supposed to subject themselves to laws. Just find out where is the law. Jamaica have a Bill of Rights, Charter of Fundamental Rights and Freedoms, as sent by the Governor General. Just read those documents. Read the very Constitution. That's where the very laws here derive from. Not a fanfare. Information. Share. And that's the thing, them on. Step by step, people. Like we try re-educate ourselves. And we alone can do that. Self-education, self-improvement, self-identification, self-determination. It starts with the ones, the individual. It starts with the I them. And then collectively, you're going to look and can identify with ones like they themselves. You get me? And naturally, you have a community of like-minded people with one voice as a freedom, freedom in and freedom in. Irrespective of where your religious belief or persuasion is. And irrespective of where any kind of persuasion where you keep is. Truth is where supreme. And freedom is just that. So ones have to make that choice there and choose to be free. And on a gift where Babylon are going to hand to you on a platter, that will never happen. Babylon rather hand you your ancestors' head on a platter and then give you any specific day where you want so you can celebrate those dead ancestors. What happened to our living legend then? What happened to our heroes that are here? Or we now want to highlight them? Or we now do wait till Babylon slew them? Or wait till the very people where they must stand up for slew them? Because that's how it usually is. Our fear incapacitate us, and people make it look like because of fear them now want to step up and speak truth. No, it's because you avoid truth. You don't like truth. You don't have truth. So you don't want truth. I'm not afraid. You're not afraid. I'm not just fall in love with Babylon and the Babylonian system. I them think they are the truth. Step by step. Salute to the truth keepers. Salute to the truth seekers. And I, man, salute the Hebrew Israelite group. The ones them were cognizant of who and what they are. The ones them were know about there is a supreme power, irrespective of what is being said out there. I, man, salute the Hebrew Israelite groups where I bring certain kind of information. Yeah, man. The Condrop 432 Drop Nation. We salute them out there. We salute them group there. The Carmere them all out there. We salute them group there. Yeah, man. We know some other platform will share some information where even our local people probably not have interest, like the Brother Sanchez platform. More time our people not necessarily dead as still, but we will share certain information. You have other platforms that we share and share it respectively, irrespective of the presenters, because some of the presenters them know them shady. But if them have a little bit of truth or we can use, we take it and say salute and we can stay in a shady closet. We don't have no issues. We will show respect. Yeah, man, but you don't know, we are not the kind of people who are going to try to attach on ourselves with. We can understand that. Yeah, man. So a truth of reign and truth supreme, and them say let truth reign though the heavens may fall. What is your truth? I truth is that I man they a long time before the ones them come here. That I truth. And the Babylon naga can't write nothing on the paper nowhere to supersede what me put on paper. And if you're not looking at the Superior Court of Record document, you're not going to see a long time we have said these things. We're not just say it. A lot of the new people, them where say them smart and bright and I do all kind of things. We salute you guys. But you know, for sure respect to even the ones them were there a long time when nobody else now here with. When people ridicule, when we say, hey, we are the Indian, and people laugh and say, you're mad, we are African. And me I say, all right, look on them information here. You have a website, I don't know, I have to try to get back that website online. Because I have a plethora of information when I'm showing them little corner there and them era there long time. But when you see people are speak now and act as if they're authority and all of these things, we say thank you. Because when we say it and share it, people say, sure, it's not real. I am have to salute the unseen warriors, the one them will go unknown. Like all Taki. Yeah, man. You have to salute them kind of warrior there. The ones them were Babylon no highlight. Yeah, man. The ones them were even were very own, we say them are maroons here. Move against. No different than if them get an opportunity for move against I as an American Indian who predate for them existence here. Them will work with the foreign entities because they are foreign just as those and move against the original people. This is why they will never tell you guys the truth of who you are. They are always trying to tell you are some African descent. Why is that? That way they can take your land. That way they can shoot you down without repercussion. That way they can just introduce this place and open it up to their foreign interests. And the common people, what them call peasant, suffer under these foreigners' presence. And them think they are going out there, but people are so them afraid for talk. Afraid for talk what? Because you have a big check, a big contract. You're a part of the oppression, but you won't admit that. Just by participating, you're aiding in the common people's oppression. Just by most of you guys' participation. But you don't want to hear that. Because you can't come on TV. You understand? What kind of foreign prince are come here and man for show interest? Them guys that don't even look like I. Them guys that don't even share the same texture as I. Them guys that don't like I. Telling already, you know, say miscegenation occurred a long time ago. You understand? So we not hail no foreign king, we not bow down to no foreign crown, and we not worship no foreign god. That are for we say we are American Indian. AhuuakHindian. We not bow down like that out there. We give thanks and praise to nature's creator. Yeah, and anything where you want to call it, then we can work with it. But that's the source. And we're now going to stop chant this way. This is the voice in the wilderness. The mustard seed area. No fanfare. A lot of people is afraid of the fire. The purification of the fire. It burn hot. I can tell you because I stay in it. So my people, Jamaica, public right of access to all beaches, including Rio and all of them fancy places there. Yeah, man. Just pull up your canoe, man, and throw out your anchor, man, and keep a party on any one of them people a place where them are called private. Private where? Not when you're American, Indian, a foreign man not have no privacy in our land. Yeah, man. So now the seed has been planted. I want now I forgot nurture it and make it grow. Yeah, man. Stand up for your birthright. Stand up for your hereditament. Stand up for your inheritance. Stand up for your grandmother, your great grandmother, your great 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 grandmothers. Salute the mitochondrial DNA, not just daddy side. Not because we are man. We have to respect our clan mothers out there. Cause remember, even I as man, that's where I derive from. I clan mothers. Firm up, I people. Wise up. Yeah, man. Rise up. Grand uprising. Glorious. It is amazing. Grand uprising. Free people.